Good morning, everybody. We're back. Thanks for joining us here at Earl Stewart on Cars. We're a consumer advocacy show. We're out to try to help the car buyers of the United States, I suppose worldwide. We stream this show all over, and all 50 states and overseas. We're trying to help folks that are caught in a time warp bubble. I just made that up, a time warp bubble of auto retail. Automobiles are being retailed today like they were over 100 years ago when Henry Ford came up with the idea of mass production and dealerships started in business. They haven't changed, and very few of you have bought a car 100 years ago, although you never know. It's a horse trading experience, and it's become anything that stays in for long enough, you become used to it. I mean, let's face it, your father and mother bought cars the same way you bought cars. Your children are buying cars the same way you and your parents bought cars. And everything else in retail has evolved to a relatively transparent, friendly, fair sort of experience. I mean, how many of you shopped at Walmart or Target or Costco or Apple? I mean, I'm not saying you never had a bad experience, but generally speaking, how about Amazon? That's probably where you spend most of your time. People are just buying more on Amazon than just about any place else. It is the world's largest retailer. You don't have these frustrating experiences. So here we are, the Federal Trade Commission, the state's attorneys generals, the local consumer affairs offices, they've given up too. I mean, there's a huge number of violations of existing laws and regulations that are just overwhelming our consumer protection agencies. So we're a self-appointed consumer protection agency, Earl Stewart on Cars. And what we do is we tell you how to avoid being taken advantage of when you're buying or leasing a car or when you're maintaining or repairing your car. So if you call the show, it's live radio, folks, live radio. Not a lot of live radio talk shows around anymore, I don't think. I'm not aware of very many. And the number that you can call, if you got a minute, you might want to write it down because you probably aren't going to call right now. But here's the number, 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Rings right here in our little studio office. Nancy Stewart sitting to my left, who is my co-host and female advocate, by the way. She'll monitor the phones on her laptop. And Jeremy in the studio will let us know that you're holding, and we will prioritize. We'll stop what we're saying to answer the phone. The phones are the most important means of communication because there's emotion, personality, humor. I mean, things that come through in real-time voice you can't get in a text or an anonymous feedback or Facebook posting or YouTube posting. But speaking of postings, YouTube.com is a huge channel of activity. People love YouTube. I've got a man sitting to my right named Rick Kearney. A lot of you know him. He's a certified diagnostic master technician, knows everything there is to know about automobiles, electric, hybrid, or otherwise. And he monitors the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. For some reason, a lot of our most intelligent, interesting, humorous followers are YouTube. And we've got some people on there that every week come up with things that we didn't know, and they give us some constructive criticism, and usually they're right, and ideas and suggestions, and they ask some amazing questions. Texting. Talking about extremely informed people, we have one, Anne Marie, a regular texter. All of you can use our text number, and that's 772 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. Text it in there. We'll get to the text. Sometimes they accumulate, but usually by the end of the show. Now remember, we're on from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And if we don't get to your text in the first hour, we'll try to get to them in the second hour. Now, I got to tell you about our mystery shopping report. That is, I don't mean today's mystery shopping report. It happens to be a doozy, but every week we shop a different car dealer somewhere. And I say somewhere, probably more often in South Florida, certainly Florida. But we do go out of state, and we've been in Tennessee, and we've been in, I don't know.
Georgia.
Pennsylvania, I mean, where?
Tennessee.
Georgia.
Yeah, all over. Been all over. And so we have a mystery shopper, a female mystery shopper, code name Agent Lightning. She goes in to pretend to buy or lease a car. And she knows the ropes. And she knows how to get the facts away from the salespeople, away from the manager, and then she reports it. My son Stu, sitting right across from me, he puts it together in form for my reading presentation, and we do that in the last half hour. So if you don't have time for anything else, and you're listening now and you got to go somewhere, try to get back between 9:30 and 10 and listen to that mystery shopping report, because it's real life. It happened 2 or 3 days ago, and it's happening in the face of a lot of controversy about the way car dealers are selling cars. The Federal Trade Commission is out trying to do something that nobody's been able to do in 100 years, make the car dealers of the United States honest and transparent, and make the car dealers give you an honest, transparent, fair price. Don't bait and switch advertise. That's in the hopper right now for the Federal Trade Commission. And boy, I tell you what, they lit a fire. National Automobile Dealers Association is going crazy. The attorney generals, all the friends of the dealers, manufacturers, the world's in a tizzy over this Federal Trade Commission effort. Now, it hasn't gone into effect yet. In fact, it's been postponed. So that mystery shopping report that you'll hear in the last half hour is going to tell you why we need some, not just rules and regulations and laws, we need enforcement. We got a lot of rules and regulations right now. Now we got more coming on board, but nobody enforces them. So stay tuned. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy Stewart, my co-host. She'll tell you about a very, very special offer that she makes to women who have not called the show before. So if you're a first-time lady caller, heads up, please.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Earl on Cars. Ladies, I have $50 for you. For the first 2 new lady callers, that's $50. Give us a call toll-free at 877-960-9960. Ladies, did you know that women buy 54% of all the vehicles in the United States? 54%. Boy, that's big. And also, 84% of us, we influence the purchase of a vehicle. Well, all you can do this morning is help me build this platform by calling 877-960-9960. And Earl talked about the FTC when we opened Federal Trade Commission. Take a look at his latest column where he wrote an open letter to Mark Rubio and Rick Scott. Real important read. And we do have a very interesting mystery shopping report from Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You want to stay tuned for that.
You left off the Ram. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Stellantis.
I could follow up on that, but I won't. We're on the air. Anyway, ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give me a call, 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. And for all of you that are a little shy, take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. And I have to mention Earl's Vigilantes. We need you more now than ever before. You can go to Earl on Cars and sign up and help. You don't have to know how to take an engine apart, but just want to help maybe someone in your community or maybe your friends. That's Earl's Vigilantes at Earl on Cars. We're going to go to Sal, and Sal's calling us from Margate. Good morning, Sal.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. 2013 Corolla, 47,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
After replacing two front shocks, struts, and driving about 30, 40 miles after, the tire pressure light came on.
What did it come on flashing and then go solid, or did it just come on and stayed solid?
But I think it came flashing and it went solid.
Okay, that means one or more of the sensors, the tire sensors, has stopped working. It could be the battery died on it, or the sensor itself may have just died. Unfortunately, it sounds kind of like just a coincidence thing. They just picked that moment to happen, but because it's pretty unrelated. I don't think replacing the struts could do anything to hurt the sensor.
So the sensors are battery powered in the wheels?
Yes.
And each one has their own battery?
Yep.
I did not know that.
And those batteries can last sometimes 8 or 10 years.
What kind of batteries? Like watch batteries?
Yeah, it's about size, but it's all sealed in. You can't even replace the
You just got to
battery.
replace the whole thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The sensors cost right now right about $100 a piece, and the labor to have them programmed in, depending if it's just one sensor, to replace it and have it programmed in, you're looking at about $200.
But let me mention one thing. I know somebody with a 2012 Yaris. The light went on. They did nothing about it. And after a while, I don't know if it's a couple of months, the light just went out again.
Well, we can always hope.
Without doing anything.
Well, I have seen odd things happen, and I have seen sometimes when an electronic device will just stop working for a while, and then a while later start working again.
Happened with my car vacuum yesterday.
Yeah, it's my own pickup truck. I went out one morning, check engine light was on, and it told me that one of the valves for the air pump system had gotten stuck, and it wasn't working, and I had to limp the truck to work because it was barely running. I could barely get it to work, and I came out that afternoon and I got in to drive it into the shop, figuring I'd have to replace that valve. And instead, it just started working again, and it's been fine now, and that's been 3 months.
Praise the Lord.
That's right. Miracles happen.
Sometimes they can fix themselves, but it's rare, but it can happen.
So you could just wait it out, maybe.
Yes,
So, Sal, do you have any other questions? And did we help you with your problem?
Yeah, let me just give him one related thing. I went to the auto store, and the guy told me he had a flat tire, and he fixed it, and the light was on for a while, and he keep on driving, and then it went off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can take, sometimes it can take 20 or 30 minutes before the sensor will turn that light off. If you had a flat tire and then you refilled it with air, got it fixed, got air back in it, it can take a little while sometimes before it will turn that light back off.
Okay, thanks for your help.
You're
You're very
welcome,
welcome.
Sal. Thanks for calling Earl on Cars. We're going to go to Debbie, who is a first-time caller.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, Debbie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You've just won yourself $50 as a first-time
Oh, I gotta
caller
hang
to
up and go
Earl
shopping.
on Cars.
Thank you. I'm going to hang up and go shopping.
Absolutely. Debbie, after we're finished leave your contact information with Jeremy, and he'll pass it along to me, and I can mail you out that check.
Will do.
Great. What can we do for you this morning?
So my question is, I'm on the road all of the time with my job, and I'm driving a 2015 Lexus that they have prompted me, the Lexus dealership, and then I also get all kinds of mail regarding getting an extended maintenance contract. I'm wondering what you feel about those.
Extended maintenance contracts, Dad.
Well, extended maintenance contracts are a product that people sell you. Manufacturers sell them and the dealers sell them. They're sold by independent companies, and they're very profitable. It's like any other product. You have to know what is covered, and you have to understand what it would cost would be otherwise. My rule of thumb is I tell people if they've got a reliable car and they're going by the factory recommended maintenance, today it's very small. And
Go ahead.
no, and you usually if you price it out, if you look at your factory recommended maintenance and you check with the dealer and see what the cost is for a oil change or tire rotation or whatever the recommended maintenance is, and you add it up yourself and then compare it to what you're paying for your maintenance contract, then it's a simple decision. Usually, there's not a big difference. And
If it's the same or less, then it could be worth it because it's just a convenience. But
yeah.
if it's the same, you might want to not consider it because there's no real advantage.
Yeah.
The one thing it can do is if the dealer or if they raise their prices later, you still get it at the price that you got it with the maintenance contract.
Well, the dealers sell them for two reasons. First of all, they make a good profit on them. A lot of people, in fact, most people, don't come back in for maintenance. They do want them to come back into maintenance because they typically try to sell them maintenance that's not required by the manufacturer. And our rule is if the manufacturer's owner manual does not recommend a particular maintenance, don't have it done. So it's as long as your sources for maintenance, your dealer or independent repair places, wherever you want to bring your car for maintenance, as long as they're not charging you an exorbitant price, if it's a fair price, I think the maintenance contract is a waste of money.
And Debbie, this is a pretty tricky business. These warranties, these maintenance programs, all this stuff. So it's definitely worth you looking into because it can be pretty expensive, especially whenever something doesn't cover the warranty that you purchased.
No, all very good points. I did check into it just as a thought. And Lexus, they sub it out. They're not doing it themselves. They still have an independent contractor who takes it over, and it's about $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
for how many years?
Wow.
For how long?
For 2 years, and it seems like it's a bit of a fear factor. Like, you could break down and your engine could go, and then you're in trouble.
Well, are these for maintenance, not for warranties, right? You're talking about just the maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we got a great tip for you. Instead of going, so when you said it was for 2 years, $3,000 for 2 years of maintenance at Lexus, I mean, I just had a heart attack there. You can bring that to any Toyota dealership, and you can't do warranty work there, but you can definitely do your maintenance there. You can do your oil changes and tire changes and filters, and you will pay considerably less than you will at a Lexus dealership. And
I love it.
It's the same. The air filters are the same parts. They use the same oil. There's no difference. It's just at a luxury
And you don't
dealership.
even have to
it's a
take
premium.
it to a Toyota dealer. You could take it to an independent repair
yeah.
shop. You can have the only thing you have to have done at a dealership is maintenance.
Warranty.
Is warranty repair. So your maintenance you can have done anywhere. If you got a good mechanic, you like him, he's honest and fair, let him do it, and he'll save you a ton of money.
Okay, well, my ex-husband's a mechanic, but I like him enough, but I don't want him working on my
No. Go somewhere else.
Anyway, thank you for your help and your tips.
You're welcome.
Debbie, thanks for calling, and thanks for helping me build a platform here for the ladies. Spread the word, and don't forget, stay on the line and talk to Jeremy in our control room, and he'll take your information.
Okay, thank you again so much.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. We are going to go to Bob. We're going to go to Bob in Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome.
back. Welcome back, Stu.
Thank you very much.
I have first question is for Nancy. I read that women that work in car dealerships make 60 cents on the dollar compared to their male counterparts.
That's
Why
right.
is
That's
that?
because they can't sell cars. That was a joke. Sorry.
uh-oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I just couldn't resist. That's way worse than the national difference in
It is.
pay. Yeah.
It is. It's way worse than national. Why is that? Do you know? Is there a reason for that? No.
I mean, they're very masculine places. I
Right.
mean, that's changed. I just know that when I first came in the business, forget about when Earl went in the business, the only women that were working at the dealership worked up in the accounting department. There weren't any women
Yeah.
technicians or sales. Well, we had one woman salesperson or two.
Even today,
Yeah, but most
women are
places.
kept back in the accounting department, and there are more women back there than out on the floor. And this is a male-dominated, industry, and that's the way it is. And hopefully someday it'll change. But for today, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. Men do make more money than women. Stu talked about aggressiveness on the male counterpart. I don't know. I think that
can I
women
try-
are easier to deal with. They're more in tune with your needs. And Earl wants to say something.
Yeah, it's just it is a shame. We at our dealership we only have I think 20 some odd women out of 170, maybe 30 women out of 170 employees. The women don't want to come into the business, frankly. The reason we're on the air is because people don't like to buy cars. They don't like to have their cars serviced. They don't like to have experiences with car dealerships because it's a negative experience. So you don't like to go into a car dealership to buy a car or have the car repaired. Gallup Annual Poll has said that for the past 50 years. It's the least desirable business people want to deal with, are car dealerships. So it's also for women who are different types of people than men, and I think are more sensitive and a little bit more, what is the word, discriminatory. They don't want to go to work for a bunch of crooks. And so one of the reasons we have fewer women working at car dealerships is because they prefer to work somewhere like Costco or the Apple Store or any place where they're treated fairly. And I agree with Nancy 100% that women are still being treated unfairly, but far more fairly today than they were 50 years ago. Car dealers are treating their employees and their customers just as bad today as they did 50 years ago. So if I was a young woman just getting out of school looking for a job, the last place I'd want to go to work would be a car dealership.
What percentage of the car sales are purchased by women?
54%.
You're asking for a
54%.
percentage?
50.
Yes.
54% of women, they are totally responsible for purchasing a vehicle. And I'll tell you what, I have said over and over again in the auto industry, for them to ignore women, it is a financial disaster for them because we rule. And 84% of women have something to do with that purchase. They have some sort of, in effect on the purchase that their husband, significant other, makes together. But 54% of women are totally in charge of a purchase decision. So I got to tell you, Bob, at 81 years old, I never thought that in the 21st century I'd be having this conversation. This is the same conversation that I had in the 50s.
Right. It boggles the mind. when you think about it.
It definitely does, because there's so many women that are in charge. I could go on about this topic, but we have a dozen callers backed up.
Oh, okay, well, I'll make this quick. I did read that the Amazon car buying program right now is only for Amazon employees.
Only
They
for their
have to be
employees right
employed.
now.
right now.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they haven't opened it up to the general public.
Where did you read
And
that, Bob?
online, somewhere online, because I had gone in to try to see what the experience would be like to try to buy a car on Amazon, and I couldn't do it, and then so I did some research, and apparently the program initiated for Amazon employees only to start, and it would be available.
I saw it here.
Some,
I found it.
some later date. Yeah, some later date. When they're going to do it for everybody else.
Yeah, Amazon
Yeah.
does that a lot with new
Yeah.
new projects.
It's called a soft launch.
Yeah.
Yes, and I just wanted to add one more point on my story last week where I told you my friend took his truck over to the Ford dealer on North Lake 4 times, and they couldn't fix it, and they told him to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, he bought 3 trucks from that dealership. So he was a returning customer, and that's how he got
And they
treated.
sent it away.
Yeah, and then he wrote a letter to Ford about the experience, and they found out about it, and they put him on a blacklist.
Oh, no.
So So I'm just saying,
Wait, Ford did?
you know,
Or the dealer?
the dealership.
I mean, for
He
their own
wrote a letter.
dealership, didn't affect him at other Ford dealerships,
No,
right? Okay.
no, for their
They fired him.
Well, he brought it there 4 times.
I know, that's a shame.
And they finally told him, well, we can't fix this truck. Take it somewhere else. And he took the Alpaca, and they fixed it right away, one time. But he wrote a letter. He complained to Ford about it, and it got back to the dealership, and they put him on a list. He bought 3 trucks from that dealer.
Yeah. So we've praised the sales department a lot because they do a really good job in sales. We've never had a service experience with a mystery shop there.
Right, I know that, but I'm just saying that now
Yeah.
he can't buy a car from those people.
Well, there are thousands of people listening to this story, Bob, and you're going to see a lot of business that was going to go to Mullinex because they do have a good sales department, but apparently their service department leaves a lot to be desired. So if you're listening, you heard Bob's son's experience, and if I were taking my Ford in for a repair, I think I'd choose, based on this experience,
Alpaca.
I choose Alpaca.
Right, I agree. All right, well, thank you very much. You have a great weekend, and hopefully the FTC will get their act together and get this thing pushed through.
We hope so.
We'll see what happens.
We're
Definitely.
hoping
Have
so.
a great day, everyone.
Bob,
Bob.
thanks for being part of the show. Have a great weekend. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, you can go to Earl on Cars and sign up for Earl's Vigilantes. You'll find all the information there, and you can really play a significant part in your community or with your friends, by sharing your experience. Ladies, I have one more $50 for one more lady this morning. And you have to be a new caller, and you can win yourself $50. 877-960-9960. And we're going to go to Darren, who's calling us from Ohio. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, everyone. Questions for Rick. I called in a few weeks ago about my 2014 Equinox with the timing chain and having to replace the motor.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other day I'm going home, it stalled out on me. I restarted it, go to the gas station, it says under court, and it's been cold up here, so I thought maybe it was because of cold. I go to fill up the tank, I go to check the oil, I pull the dipstick out. It was like I stand in front of a sprinkler. The oil just starts spraying out the dipstick tube.
Wow.
So I ended up making it home, parked it. I called the Chevy dealer because it's a brand new crate motor. It's only got like 20,000 miles on it. He said they're known to have like the seals, rear seals and stuff go on them. But since I didn't have them put it in, they would only cover the parts. But if it's a gasket, they don't cover that either, or the labor. So I had the mechanic who put it in. He stopped over. He thinks it's the PCV valve. I guess it's built into the manifold now on those.
Right,
And
because
he thinks that went bad. Then subsequently made it. So like, but he's not sure if there's any other internal damage. Because, like I said, there's barely any oil left in it by the time I got home because I didn't know it blew the rear seal. So I got to go and approach Chevy next week at the dealership where I bought the thing because it's got a 3 or 100,000-mile warranty on the engine. So there's a brand new, crate motor from GM. So what's your suggestion on how to approach it, or to get them to repair it, or should I try to push for another new engine because there could be internal damage, or is it just going to be a manifold and a rear seal and it should be okay?
Well, first question: when you pulled the stick out, you had the engine turned off, right?
Correct.
And it
Man,
spurted out. It spurted out.
It still had that much pressure.
Did you drop a Mentos in
That's
there?
a lot of pressure.
Okay.
I don't think Mentos would work with oil like that. But no, because basically what happens, the PCV valve it's the positive crankcase ventilation valve. Basically, what it's meant to do is the pressure that builds up inside the engine itself, that is built up from the pistons moving up and down. That pressure is meant to be bled off by the PCV, and the oil vapor and some fuel vapor will make it in there as well. That's meant to go into the engine and be burned. That way you don't have pollution coming out from that valve area. But if that valve gets stuck, if it's seized up closed, that pressure will build up and keep building up. And it's like a balloon that's got so much pressure. So when you pulled that stick out, you gave it a spot for that oil to escape. And of course, the dipstick tube goes nice and deep down into the oil. So when you pulled the stick out and it opened it up, it was just shooting it right out. Unfortunately, that's a pretty bad situation. My only other concern is when you got the new engine to put in it, did it come with a new manifold, or did they reuse the old manifold? Because if they reused the old one,
the mechanic said all he did was put the old exhaust manifolds on.
the exhaust manifold. Okay, so they didn't use or they had a new intake manifold.
Correct.
That's on Chevy then.
Okay. And then the other thing I thought, I didn't think about it until he brought it up. On the old engines, they had it in for repairs before, and I didn't notice it until when the engine blew on me. When I took the oil cap off, someone drilled a hole through it. And he said that I probably had the same problem with the other thing. And when I took it in, he said they probably drilled a hole through the oil cap to relieve the pressure.
Uh-huh.
And I never realized why it was. And I'm like,
Yeah,
so at some point, some mechanic, when I had it in, drilled a hole through it on the old one, and that's why, maybe that's probably why that engine went.
Wow.
So,
On purpose?
Yeah, they would have to.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I'm like, why is there a hole in the center of this
To
cap?
release the pressure?
Yeah.
So someone had done that to relieve the pressure when I had taken it in for service.
Right. Yeah. See, the real old technology that, like Earl's old Pontiac that he has on the showroom floor, they used to use what's called a road draft tube, and it was simply a pipe stuck in the side of the engine that pointed down, and it would extend just below the bottom of the car a little bit, and it was cut off at an angle so that as you're driving, airflow going across it would create a little venturi there, and it would actually create suction and suck the vapors out of the engine out through that tube.
All over the roads.
Right.
Yeah, and it would drip on the road, so you'd literally see oil could collect there because the oil vapor would get in that tube. So then when you parked your car, oil would just keep dripping from that tube because it sucked all the oil vapor
In
through it.
1937, nobody cared about
That's
that.
why.
Right.
That's when I was learning to drive. Everybody was warning me about all the oil on the road, but that's not the case anymore.
No, now it's just cars that leak.
All right, so how does he get this fixed, and what's the best way to approach this?
The
Right.
manifold,
That should be a manufacturer's responsibility, right?
yeah,
This is something that involves Chevrolet Motor Division, and you should go on record in writing, email or text. Be sure it's in writing, and tell the story just like you told it to us, and say that you are holding them responsible. Let the dealer know, and hopefully the dealer will back you with Chevrolet, and you'll be able to have that fixed under warranty.
yeah.
Because they're saying they won't cover the labor, even if it does need parts, whatever, because I didn't have it done by them.
Well, yeah, that's
They warranty the parts.
that's something I'd almost think about getting an attorney involved.
I don't know why they wouldn't involve. This is a powertrain warranty, right?
Well, but see, it's a replacement motor.
Oh, yeah.
He went to a
I
mechanic
see what you're saying. Yeah.
with a car that's out of warranty.
Yeah.
They bought a motor from Chevrolet and installed it in an aftermarket shop.
I got you. Yeah.
But the motor has obviously a very serious defect in that PCV
So
valve.
they're trying to compromise and saying, all right, we'll
I
cover the
like
motor, but not the labor.
Rick's earlier suggestion. You might want to get an attorney involved And this is something that probably isn't going to be clear in terms of the written warranty, but I think a good attorney with a good letter might get you some help on that labor.
Or maybe another Chevy dealer that's going to do a better job trying to fight for that the labor hours for you.
Yeah, because that obviously the whole engine should be replaced by Chevrolet, because that loss of oil so much that could definitely cause internal issues. But if you're saying that it's a known issue for that PCV valve, especially if you can find some information to back that up, I would go that route, because that's an obvious defect.
Yeah, because one of my friends found a YouTube post on it with like a service call thing from GM saying it's like I forgot the recall number, for them to fix the PCV valve.
Yeah, that's the direction I would go.
Darren, good luck with that, and please give us a call. Let us know how things turned out for you.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Joe Ellen, who is a first-time caller.
No.
She's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning. Good morning, Joe Ellen.
Good morning. I spoke to you a couple times. I am buying a 2003 Acura RSX for $5,500. It's got 145,000 miles. You guys said that that's still a good car. But I took it to my mechanic, and they said they found the VVT solenoid they had to replace. I don't know how serious that is. My mechanic said it's not a serious thing.
You know what, Joe Ellen? I just remember I'm recalling your phone call. I said earlier you were a first-time caller. Thanks for calling back to get that information. What do you think, Rick?
Well, the VVTi system is variable valve timing,
with intelligence.
and it's actually solenoids that control the timing of the camshaft. Usually these solenoids are mounted in the valve cover, and they simply are just one or two bolts, and it's simply slid right into place with a rubber gasket on it. Usually we get about an hour and a half labor to replace one of those, depending on
Translate that into dollars.
Yeah, what you have to do to access it. So figure about $200 to $250 of labor. The parts sometimes can get rather expensive. I think the Toyota's versions of those are running around $300 to $400. So Acura, it could go as much as $500 for the part.
Well, they already did that. They replaced it, and they charged me $200.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do it. My mechanic didn't do it. The dealership, they have a mechanic. They did it for some reason.
Oh, okay.
And when I Googled the parts, they're only really cheap.
Oh.
From what I saw. But anyway, so they said it was VVT solenoid. That's what he found that was wrong with it.
Yep.
Thing. So hopefully it turns out to be a good car. I'm going to get it maybe Tuesday. I'm the one that had a 2015 Nissan Altima with the transmission issue, but I think it's also one of the things that was wrong with it, he said, was a mass airflow sensor.
Okay.
So anyways, I'm still driving it at about 20 miles an hour until I get my new car. I don't go a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
But keeps it sort of chugs like it's really a tire issue. So I'm, it's still going into gear, but I'm, I wonder, was it really a transmission? But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Joe Ellen, I want to thank you for calling back, and also, I'm not sure whether you know this or not, but 50% probably of ladies bring their car through service, and you certainly sound like as if that you can handle yourself and you know what you're talking about. As I said, you're an educated consumer. I want to thank you for calling, and give us a call back.
Yeah, well, I'm learning a lot on your show. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Oh,
So thank you so much. And I'm telling my friends, my girlfriend just she was given a car. She really needed it. It's an older car. So I said, once you start driving it, if you have any issues, call them and see if they can help if she has any issues.
yeah, absolutely. And she can win herself $50 if she's never called before. Joe Ellen, thanks again. Have a great
Okay,
weekend.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I learned a lot on this show.
We're going to go to Jersey Mike, who's been holding. Good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Hi there.
Hey, Mike.
Well, she's doing a great show again, as usual. I look forward to it every week. And first question is not about cars. It's about Big Dog Ranch, because I'm going to go out there today or Monday and to get another dog. I did one already for a friend of mine, and he has it, and he's very happy. And now he's left. He went back to Pennsylvania. So my dog had a great partner here. They had a lot of fun together. I had a nice backyard and what have you here in West Palm Beach overlooking a lake. Anyway, the question is, what's with today's report on Big Dog Ranch? What's being offered? May I ask that question?
I don't think we have. We don't have a dog this week, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, they get busy sometimes.
Mike, you can go to the website. You can take a look at all the dogs that are up for adoption.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Oh, yeah, bdrr.org, Mike. Go there and go. It says our dogs, and there's a section. They have a picture and they have a description and all their vital stats.
Well, thank you for that help.
You can take a look at all those beautiful places that you really enjoy and you talk about every week.
You'll also be able to see the dogs that are being fostered out right now as well.
Yeah, that's true, because they're not at the ranch.
Yeah. And there is a veterans building there, and I went ahead and made a substantial donation through that particular building because I'm a veteran, and I want all the folks out there to know, I think I mentioned it once before, if you are a veteran, you get a 50% deduction off the cost of any dog that you purchase there, that you adopt. Also, that dog, when it comes out of there, is fully taken care of. It's chipped. It's got a chip in it. It's been groomed. The nails have been cut. It's got all its vaccinations, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
You go ahead and do
One stop.
And by the way,
one-stop
the most
adopting.
important thing there, it's a non. What do they call it? They don't kill dogs.
Yeah,
It's a
no-kill. Yeah, that's
that's
a
a big-
no-kill
that's a big
shelter, and it's the only one in the United States.
Only? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
And,
Okay.
Yeah, go to the website. It's
will,
worth
yes.
taking a look at.
I'll tell you.
As you said, there's a lot of perks out there for the veterans. Many perks.
Yes. And,
Mike, thank you so much for calling.
I got one question about a car. Could I ask a question about a car?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I bought a 2014 AST Cadillac, and it's so bad that the car is so bad. I went through a lot of repairs. People out there, please take your car to a mechanic and get a report on it before you buy it, because I didn't do that, unfortunately, because I thought the Cadillac was a reliable car, because I had many of them throughout the course of the years of my life. In any case, the car doesn't even come with a spare tire. Do you believe that?
I believe that, because hardly any cars come with
This
spare
day
tires
and age,
anymore. Yeah.
we believe
I
it.
didn't know that, but
That's
at least I
crazy.
thought you get. What, they get the lug wrenches in there to take the tire off.
Yeah, I don't get it. I
No
thought that
tires,
luxury
like
brands
crazy.
did still continue to have the spare tire. I guess that's not the case with GM. Oh, that
Another
stinks.
problem, and I don't want to sound like I'm discriminatory here, but I think small people designed this car because it's almost impossible to get in and out of. And I'm not a big person.
I wouldn't guess that from something out of the big three.
It has that 1, 2, 3 setting on the door, but it doesn't really function properly. So anyway, that's another part. You don't ever drop anything between the console and the chair. You're going to never get it out because it's so tight up against the console. You can't put a hand down.
Get rid of that caddy, Mike. Get rid of it.
Well, I'm going to, but are the new Cadillacs like this also?
I would guess. The trend with the spare tire started a while ago.
Yep.
No, I'm saying as far as the tightness and all of that.
I don't know. I haven't driven one in many years.
Okay. One last thing. The fake leather, I thought it was leather because Cadillac usually puts leather in the seats.
Vegan leather.
No. It just falls off. It just peels right off. Now to get rid of this car, I'm going to have to go and spend a lot of money to put a whole new upholstery system in it because there's no upholstery where you sit.
Oh wow, yeah. God, good luck
Are you
with
aware of
that.
that?
Wow, it looks like they're really getting cheap on those
It's
cars.
a fake leather. It's a fake. It looks like leather, feels like it, but it's a fake leather. Some kind of vinyl is what it is. There's no cloth in there at all.
Yeah, I'd definitely
So anyway.
Google that, or I would go to Rick. You've advised every week they have these
it's
clubs.
pleather.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Mike,
Thanks,
Well,
Mike.
thank you very much, folks, for your help.
you're
Talk to you
welcome.
next week.
I got about 10 calls backed up, so you have yourself a great weekend. Give us a call. Let us know
And you too.
how things turned
Yes, I
out.
will.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Your anonymous feedback. Take advantage of that. We are going to go to Barbara, who is calling us for the first time. Good morning. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you for calling. You won yourself $50 this morning as a first-time female caller.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Please stay on the line and
Okay.
give Jeremy in the control room your information, contact information, so I can get you a check.
Okay.
All right. What's your question today?
My question is, with like Nissan cars, they're pretty well known for transmission issues. And I have a 2019, and that transmission went bad. But you know what was funny is right before the transmission went bad, I got a notice in the mail that they were extending the warranty on the transmission. And of course, my car happened to be like 3,000 to 4,000 miles over that mileage that they extended it, and I wind up having to get a new transmission. Nissan was nice. I called their corporation and complained, and they were nice enough to offer 50% to fix it because I took it to the dealership. But I also let them know that this is the second Nissan that I've owned, and the transmission had to be replaced. So I'm just wondering, do you guys get a lot of calls like that? Because I just want to now get rid of the car.
Actually, we have seen a lot of Nissans. I know personally, in the various social media groups that I'm in for mechanics, Nissan transmissions are one of the number one topics that they just, for some reason, their CVTs, their continuously variable transmissions, just are not holding up. They can't seem to get them right. They've been 4 or 5 years worth of Nissans now. The past 4 or 5 years of their cars, multiple reported problems with these cars.
What are they finding out that is the main problem?
It's just internal workings, the way they're designing it. It's without trying to go into a full explanation of how the transmission actually works. It's basically working the pulleys inside it. They just break down too easily.
Interesting.
But I wonder if they're also putting in cheaper parts, like when they're manufacturing, because it's the constant problem with Nissan. And like I said, this is my second Nissan. So
that's also a very good likelihood. Inferior parts being put in,
exactly,
lower quality,
yeah,
and obviously because Nissan is, comparatively to most other cars, Nissans are generally a lesser expensive car. Therefore, they're made more cheaply because, after all, everybody's out looking for the biggest profit they could get. So, and unfortunately, that's the way Nissans are. Myself, I really wouldn't trust them much.
Yeah, exactly.
no, after I get rid of this, I'm kind of done. I like the fuel efficiency of a small car because I run a lot of errands, but I'm definitely just getting rid of the brand as a whole because it's 2 separate cars, 2 separate transmissions. There's definitely a common denominator, which is Nissan.
Yep.
Sounds like
Consumer Reports is your best friend. Search through to find the car that's right for you, but one with the best ratings and the lowest quality issues, and go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Switching to another brand might be a real good idea.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you answering my question.
Thank you, Barb. Stay on the line.
I will.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Mary Ann. She, too, is a first-time caller from Palm Beach Gardens. Good morning, Mary Ann. Good morning. Mary Ann,
Hello.
Mary Ann, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mary Ann, you just won yourself $50 for being a first-time caller.
Okay.
And you can
thanks
stay
a
on
lot.
the line, and you can give Jeremy your information and your contact information, and he'll pass it along to me, and I'll send you out that check. What can we do for you this morning, Mary Ann?
All right. I have a Nissan Murano, 2015. I just listened to the last
Oh, yeah,
caller.
that's why I said, oh, no.
Okay. Now, I have been going to the Blue Heron dealership for all my maintenance. Now, I don't believe I've been taken by them because they have maintained my car top notch. I don't have any problems with the car. I love the safety issues on it. It's virtually like very close to buying a 2024 car. The only thing I don't have is when you move out of your lane. That's the only thing I don't have on my car. I have 46,000 miles on it. I bought it 2016, and as I said, they're solely the ones that I've had maintaining my car. I go for oil changes every 4 months or so, and I have been very satisfied with it. But my main concern is I'm hearing about timing belts. Now, are there signs I should look out for regarding the time belt?
No, there isn't. Timing belt is kind of buried in the engine. It's all totally concealed. You'll never be able to see it without disassembling a bunch of the engine parts. The best thing you can do is look in the books that came with the car, and you're looking for one that has the factory recommended maintenance intervals, and look in there and see when the manufacturer recommends replacing the timing belt. If your car has one, a lot of cars now are switching to timing chains, which are a lifetime item. You never need to replace it. But if yours does have a timing belt, go by that manual, and if it says that it needs to be done at 60,000 or 90,000 or 100,000, whatever level that point is, that's when you'll definitely want to get it done.
Okay, can it happen before? Because I have 46,000 miles, almost after 8 years of ownership.
Mm-hmm. Usually timing belts don't go by age, it's the miles. And I've never seen any manufacturer with less than 60,000 miles recommendation for replacing the timing belt. So you should still be safe, but I would verify with Nissan for when it should be replaced. And I that's the route I would go with it.
Okay, that sounds good. The only thing is I got a little scared when I heard the last caller about the Nissan. I have absolutely loved my car. I looked into buying an electric car. I went to Tesla. I test drive a Tesla a couple of years ago. I mean, it might be 2 years ago, August. And I almost bought it because I have a friend here living near me who has a Tesla, and she loved it. But I'm also kind of leery about that. I think I'm going to go hybrid, and I'm going to come in to see Earl Stewart because I think I want to get rid of this car before I have any trouble.
Absolutely.
Good plan. Good plan.
Well, Mary Ann, thanks so much for calling, and give us a call back. We'd love to hear from you. And please spread the word to your lady friends that they too can win $50 by calling Earl on Cars.
Very good. I would think I'm going to get on your vigilante squad. Sounds
All
like
right.
a good thing.
We could use you. You'd be our first woman vigilante, I
We
think.
we could definitely use you, Marianne.
Okay, great.
Yeah, go to Earl on Cars. I'm sure you heard me earlier, and you
Yes.
sound like a educated consumer, and we definitely would appreciate your help on Earl's
I've had-
Vigilantes.
Yeah, I've had many experiences with cars. I've bought at least 16 brand new cars in my lifetime. I don't buy used cars. I definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
I just go for the brand new right at the dealership. So, okay, thank you.
You sound
so
very
much.
seasoned. Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Wally in Boca.
Sorry.
Good morning, Wally.
Hi, good morning. I called.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're here.
Right.
That was
Hi.
Stu's humor. He's got a dog named Wally.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was barking.
It's okay.
Good name.
Maybe this is Wally.
I didn't picture him talking, sounding like this. I pictured a different voice.
We're being silly, Wally.
We're all being
How
a
can we
little
help you?
silly,
Yeah.
Wally. Your call's very important. What can we do for you today?
I called last weekend, and I have a BMW. I called about possibility of purchasing an extended warranty.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you asked me if I'd call back
Yes.
to give you my decision after talking to all of you, and I've decided not to take the extended warranty.
Good for you.
Good choice.
Earl said, put the money in the stock market. Well,
Yeah.
I left it in the bank, so it's safe.
That's a good idea, too.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, when I bought this car, if you recall, I told you, I bought it off the lease. The lease was expiring after 3 years, and I bought it directly from BMW directly. The dealers wanted, in the Boston area, they wanted like $1,800 to go through a BMW dealership to purchase the car from BMW, which already had a residual value on there, which is a good thing. And but I was able to purchase it by check directly from BMW Financial Services.
That's great.
So, yeah. So with that said, when I leased the car, I was called into a room to sign the papers for the lease. And the gentleman, if I want to be that kind, tried to really sell me for this was 3 years ago, $1,600 plus tax for a warranty for road hazard damage for tires.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, these are 19-inch rims. They're run flats. I said, if a tire goes, it's like, for this car, it's like $350, $375 installed, balanced, whatever. I said, I'd have to blow out 4 tires in a matter of 3 years. I said, I'm going to gamble the $1,600 and not give you the money. I ended up winning. I think in Massachusetts, with all the potholes in the roads, when you hit these potholes with the run flat, forget it. It just destroys them. A big bubble blows up on them.
Yeah.
Even though I happen to like the run flats, I didn't like them at one time, but they're okay. Get you where you have to go to before you can have a repair done, in order to get a repair done. So I didn't go with that. I should have known better. But when I went to the dealer a couple weeks ago in Florida, and I think I told you, they had a sign on the wall, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, done off of a printer, in large letters saying labor rate $300 and some odd dollars. That was a turn off. But to me, that was an insult to me or any. It's a BMW dealership. It's not it's not the end of the world, but. Right. You're dealing with people that have some kind of brains, and I thought it was classless. And the lady who was trying to sell me the warranty, extended warranty, again, this was not for maintenance. This is for after the 4 years are up.
on the
real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. So who showed you the labor rate? That was the person trying to sell you the warranty, right?
right, and she pointed to the wall.
I'm sure
and
the
said,
service
"This is
manager
the
there
labor-
loved that.
This is the labor rate, and it is a sign in her office, and it was like $340 something or $350 an hour, right in that
That's huge.
vicinity.
Wally,
So, I mean,
Wally, there's
that
an
was a
article.
turnoff.
Wally, there's an article in this week's Automotive News, headline article, F&I pay, that's finance and insurance, is better than auto retail, which means the lady that was selling you that warranty that was hocus pocus and trying to scare you into buying a product you didn't need, the average F&I person makes around $250,000 a year. So you were talking to a the highest paid salesperson in the one that sells used cars, new cars, service, F&I. They make a ton of money by doing exactly what you described, and it is totally
Scare tactics.
It's totally smoke and mirrors, and trying to sell people what they don't need
Right.
for way too much money.
By using fear.
They're not being transparent with their customers, in my opinion. I'm not going back to this dealership. It's a large dealership in South Florida.
Which one is
And,
it? Is it the Bremen?
No, it's in Coconut Creek.
Vista.
That's in Pompano. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pompano. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Pompano or whatever. I was a little bit taken back.
Oh, sure. You would
but,
think
you know,
that you would think that they would be making enough money, as Earl just pointed out to you. Just alone in F&I, what they make, that's a pretty a lucrative.
She told me, I just want to add this. When I sat down with her, and I said, look, I'm just in. I said, I have another 7 months to go on my warranty, whatever, on my car. I just bought it off the lease. And she said, look, let me go over this with you, and there's nothing in this for me. Well, when somebody says that to me, there's nothing in it for her.
What?
There's something. Maybe it's job security.
There's
I don't know what
about
it is.
18% in it for her.
And trust me, you got to watch out for. Trust me on
she
this.
lied. She looked right at me and lied. So I'm not going with it. I'll take my chances. There's 4 years on the powertrain. The
Put it in
car
the
has
stock
30-something thousand. Exactly.
Well, yeah.
I have one question for Rick, if I may.
Sure.
Quick question. As I said, the car has 19-inch rims on it, and parking it, which is really no excuse, but I've hit curbstones in the city, in Boston, whatever, and it put some gouges on it. The dealer told me that they can grind down the rims. And they did tell me that they wouldn't do the whole rim, just the outer, because BMW, which I didn't even realize, has a logo embedded in the rim on the if you look at the rim where the spokes are, if you would, it says BMW. But just to grind the ends, with that, they wanted $180 a tire plus tax to do that. Now, I understand they have to take the tire off and they have to put it back on and balance it. So I don't know. Maybe that's within reason. I don't know. But my main question is, by trimming down, I guess, and I'm using the wrong word, but whatever they do to smooth out any dents put in by curbstones or whatever on the outer part of the rim, would that affect the performance of the wear and tear of the tires or the stability of the steering wheel?
No. Depending on the design of the rim, there's always going to be a little extra metal there that you can actually grind because we're not talking about taking major amounts. They're basically just going to try to smooth it and polish it to clean that up.
Do they take it, like, shave it?
Kind of, yeah. They'll use like Dremel tools, grinder wheels, and they'll clean and polish it to get rid of those gouges and scratch marks.
Yeah.
And then remount the tires back on it. 180 a wheel. I got to say, to me, that sounds very inexpensive. I would consider that a very reasonable amount. We have a company called Turbax here that does a lot of rim refinishing rims. And I mean, if they're doing the job properly and they make it look good, I would actually ask them, do you have any photos, before and after photos of rims that you've already done, and can show me the results so that I know that I'm getting a good quality repair? And if it is for $180 a rim on BMW rims that are probably close to $1,000 each retail,
Yes, they are.
I would consider that a pretty good deal. I would go with that.
Okay.
I mean, you've only got two of them, obviously, they're going to be messed up right on the right side.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd go that way.
okay, Wally.
Thank you. Thanks for your advice.
Thank-
I appreciate it. And great show. And it's a pleasure listening to you Saturday mornings.
Thanks, Wally.
Thanks, Wally. Thanks for being part of the show. 877-960-9960. We are going to go to Lance in Tennessee. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Earl.
Hello, Lance.
Nancy. And I just wondered if you've noticed that since I've been singing these songs on your program,
Yeah.
that the quality and the quality and the knowledge of your callers seems to have increased.
Yes, they are.
exponentially. Earl, your name came up last night at the Way Far Out Club.
Oh.
And I have a quick question for you, and I've got a quick tune for you.
Okay.
The question is, are you hearing that Toyota is about to come out to introduce a small pickup onto the market?
In the United States?
Yes. They're talking about an all-electric version of the Tacoma that is actually going to be just a little bit smaller. They were talking for 24, but now obviously it's looking like it's going to be 25 or maybe 26. But yeah, that's one of the things I've heard. It's supposed to be an all-electric pickup truck, slightly smaller than the Tacoma, and it looks interesting. But I've only heard just bare rumors right now.
I
Not a whole lot of
I didn't
information.
know that myself, Lance. I'm glad Rick had heard it. I did not hear it. I was worried about Toyota falling behind on electric vehicles, but this is good news that they're going to go an all EV truck.
Yeah, and of course,
Well-
the new Tacoma that's coming out, the 24, is got several different drive lines to it, but they have hybrid versions of that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I drive a Toyota that is so old that it was driven over here by Emperor Hirohito.
Okay, let's hear the song, Lance.
Well, I'm sitting around all broken-hearted, lonely and sick as a dog. My ex-wife has stolen my dog, and all I can say is have a good day when you're listening to Earl Stewart on the radio.
Well, you are getting better, Lance. I think you're going to have a talent scout looking for you to go on TV, I think. So,
Well, I'd rather have a talent scout that looking for me than a bail bond.
all right, thanks, Lance. You call us again, please.
Yes.
Have a good day.
You
Thanks
too,
for
my
being
friend.
part of the show. We are going to go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John.
Hey,
Good morning,
morning.
John.
Yes, good morning. I have a question for Rick. Important to rotate tires, especially front to the rear, because the fronts wear quicker. Why in the world do some manufacturers, Mercedes included, have different size tires in the rear than the front? What's the reason behind that? Usually the rear are a larger size tire.
Because
Why do they
can.
do that?
Does it look cool?
Because they can.
Gives it that like aggressive look.
Yeah.
Bigger in the back.
Usually that's on more of the performance cars. It changes the stance of the car. Like Toyota Supra, the front wheels are a different size from the rear. And quite often that's on a rear-wheel drive car because the bigger tires in the back will give you more traction for the power, whereas the smaller, more narrow tires on the front make it a more
So you just cross-
responsive and more nimble for steering.
So you just cross them? That's how you rotate them? Or
No.
What
You
do
do not ever want to cross-rotate radial tires if you don't have to.
So what do you do with
Because
it?
you'll create a pull.
So what is the answer?
You don't rotate them.
Oh.
You simply, when they wear
So
out,
the
you replace them.
manufacturers don't think about what they're costing the customer to do that. They're just saying, we think it's better engineering design-wise, and they forget about the fact that it's going to raise your tire expense.
Well, that's like the when they built the
if you're
the
buying
Dodge
an AMG.
Challenger, the Hellcat, and they basically didn't really care that the customers who bought those cars were going to be replacing the tires about every 3,000 to 4,000 miles, maybe 5,000 miles, and the brakes about every 12,000 miles.
Yep.
I mean, they're just...
It's part of the game now. It's part of the fun. If you're an enthusiast.
Great question, John. I didn't realize that myself. So good information exposes kind of the lack of empathy the manufacturers have on the ultimate customer.
Well, I would never buy a car. My friend has an older Mercedes, and the rear tires are, I think, the largest size from the factory, and the front. So he got confused because he wanted them to put the front on the rear. They said, we can't do that because of the different size. So I wouldn't even buy a car that doesn't have 4 even amount, same type of tires.
I agree.
Exactly, John. But then again, you're an educated consumer.
Well,
thank you guys for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of the show. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Earlier in the show, I mentioned Earl's column. It's a great read, very important, and still with the theme of the FTC. You can go to Earl on Cars and you can read that column, and it is an open letter to Mark Rubio and Rick Scott.
And I'm grateful to the publications that published that, because in the past there's been some resistance. As soon as you sent your column, I went, they're not going to publish this because usually they don't like the political stuff. But hey, they did it with the picture and everything.
Good point. Very true.
It's political because they don't like to anger potential advertisers too.
Yeah.
But in fairness to you, you've never come out and attacked or advocated for a political position one way or the other ever. They just didn't like the appearance of a public name, like in the article.
Yeah.
But they've changed their editorial standards apparently.
Yeah. Sometimes there's some controlled speech out there. This time it isn't. It doesn't apply. And ladies and gentlemen, you can read the column at Earl on Cars, or you can go to the Hometown News if you pick that up, and it is also in the Florida Weekly. So
you just reminded me on the column. I got a call from the campaign manager, I'm pretty sure, for the opponent to Marco Rubio, and he read the column in Florida Weekly.
Is this Bill Eyre? Phil Eyre?
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think of who's running against him.
Anyway, he wants to know if I would support, or I would make mention to the opponents of both Marco Rubio and Rick Scott the challenge that I made to them to support Big Dog Ranch or their favorite charity. All they have to do is go on the record supporting or going against the Federal Trade Commission CARS, combating auto retail scams. If the opponent to Marco Rubio would come out and support one way or the other, we could make that same offer to them. So that puts a little more pressure on the incumbent, knowing that their opponents are also going to be offered this challenge if, in fact, they are going to support or not support the Federal Trade Commission regulations. Okay.
We're going to go to Marty.
Marty in West Palm Beach.
Good morning, Marty.
Good morning.
Thanks for waiting.
How are you?
We're great. Nice to hear from you.
I have a question. I guess I would go to Rick. In Toyota Camry, and I think all the Toyotas, if there's a car in your blind spot, and the blind spot monitor, let's say you turn your turn signal on and you would go into that lane, the light will flash, but there's no audible sound. In a Honda, there is an audible. So is there any way to make that into an audible, or it's just Toyota's position that they don't want it to be an audible, obviously.
Yeah, I think Toyota dropped the ball on that. They should have had that if the blind spot monitor is detecting a vehicle and you put a turn signal on that way,
that should be,
it should beep.
It will still, if you have the lane keep assist, which I think you have, Marty, if you start to move, it will nudge you. Or no,
Yeah.
if your signal on, it won't nudge you.
With your turn signal on, lane keep assist
So
is
don't
negated.
just don't use your
But,
signals.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Just kidding. Use your turn signal.
They should have added a beeper, but unfortunately, there's no way to retrofit one. At least not that I'm aware of. Yeah, it's just one of the things that they did that they didn't think it quite
overlooked,
through.
Yeah, because I've missed that too. If it's in your peripheral vision, you got to remember to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So it's. I mean, I understand they missed it. In my car's a 20, so they missed it in 21. They missed it in 22.
Oh, yeah,
Well, now it's 24.
Yeah, I got
They
it.
still don't
23. It's
have
not
it.
doing it.
Well, that's the reason competition is the consumer's greatest friend. Honda keeps Toyota sharp, and Toyota keeps Honda sharp. They're probably the two most imported car head-to-head competitors. So, as a Toyota dealer, as most people know, we have a Toyota dealership. I don't dislike or feel threatened by the competition. I think without the competition, the manufacturers get fat and happy. So Toyota is, if we're complaining about it, and you're complaining about it, others are complaining about it, and Toyota will jump on the bandwagon and probably make the correction. And I guarantee you, Toyota's doing some things that Honda wish they were doing. And that's what makes, as I say, competition is the consumer's best friend.
And it also makes it frustrating because it makes it hard to choose sometimes. Because sometimes someone's got something you got to have, and the other guy doesn't got it, but vice versa.
And I just want to tell you this, not that it's going to hurt your sales, but there's a lady, one of my neighbors, who took out a Toyota to test drive to buy. You cut me.
That was a joke. That was a joke. My
Yeah,
God.
okay, Stu. But here's the thing. She did not buy the Toyota because it didn't have the audible for the blind spot monitor.
That was the decision maker for a while.
And she considered that very important. And also, in Camrys, and it's got to be cheap to do, they do not have memory seats.
Right. No, that's even even on the XLE. You're right.
As far as that, mine's an XLE. I don't
Yeah.
have a memory seat.
Okay.
I don't know if a 24 does. But again, this Honda that she bought an Acura, which is
The upgrade.
Honda. But even the Hondas,
Yeah.
a lot of them do
If you get
have
to
the
it
blind
from-
spot monitors. So to me, Toyota, not that they're losing that many sales,
No,
but
I also
they should get with it.
I think also that it's not just necessarily a sales thing. Earl will probably disagree. I think that if it shows that's safer, and I think it's probably not an expensive thing to include in that option.
Well, you
And they
don't
want
mind.
safer cars.
I don't mind criticizing the largest manufacturer in the world, and that's who Toyota is. They're number one in the world in 2023, so they're doing something right. But they can do a lot more right. That's competition.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good weekend now that the Bills lost. I just got to watch for Taylor Swift this weekend.
There you go.
Look at.
Thanks, Marty.
Unfortunately.
All right.
Going to be an
Have a-
interesting weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for being part of the show. We're going to go to another first-time female caller. Boy, we've got a record this morning, and I can't thank you enough, ladies. We're going to Boca, where we're going to be talking to Catalina. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're well, thank you. Catalina, you just won yourself $50.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I can't
for
believe it.
being a first-time female caller. Please spread the word. I'm trying to build a platform here for the ladies. And if you stay on the line...
That's what my neighbor told me, and I thought that was awesome. So I wanted to call and support you because I think we need more women supporting women in all areas.
Yeah, this is very true. Thank you for helping. And stay on the line. Give Jeremy your information, and I'll get that check out to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to, we're going to go to Bobby, who is calling us from West Palm Beach. No, Bobby's calling us. He's calling us from Jensen Beach. Hey, Bobby. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are
Good.
you?
We're well, thank you. What can we do for you this morning?
Hey, I spoke with you. On Wednesday. Called you. I'm a wealth advisor here in Jensen Beach, and teaching clients to not to buy a new vehicle, but a good, solid used vehicle. And then we got into the. So he called me, right? He's coachable. Called me. Wednesday says, "Hey, I'm buying this vehicle. I'm going to fax you the information." So he did. I called the dealership, and then the lady put me in touch with actually Todd, who called me back very promptly. And so I'd like to share the information on this invoice with the vehicle the client was going to buy and all the junk fees.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trading his van. He's a business owner, and he was buying a Nissan, a van, 21,000 miles on it. But as I looked at the invoice, it had a lot of junk fees like paint and interior protection, $399. DLP traceable theft protection, $299. And then the Spirion low jack, $699.
Oh my God.
And then we go down further, and he's got pre-delivery service fee, $999.99. He's got a documentation fee of $399.99. And then further down, it says government title and registration license fees, $100. $23 for the private tag agency fee. And then because of all these additional benefits, sales tax of $50. So immediately, Eileen and I listened to the program every Saturday morning, and so immediately I called Nancy, and then I called the dealership, and they put me in touch. Doug called me back, and I provided all the information to Doug, and he's in touch with my client, and he's going to help him look at the vehicle. But I wanted to share that.
That's crazy. Yeah, when you add all that up, what did they say the sale price was? What's the top line?
Yeah, the top line was $40,000. This is cash price, $40,098.30. On top of that, also, they told him he's going to pay cash, right? $18,000 difference in cash with his trade-in.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, you can't do that. You have to finance it.
No.
You have to finance it to us, right?
That's not true. That's
No, exactly. Because I was like 40 years in banking with Citigroup and Barclays Bank, and I worked a lot with dealers, floor plans and stuff like that. So I knew a little bit about what was going on.
What was the dealership? Who is this?
Yeah, the dealership is Pierce, Pierce, AFL, DF at LLC, and that's in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Pierce?
Fort Pierce?
Yeah, Pierce and the initials A, Apple, Frank, Larry, and then V, Victor, F, then LLC, and that's in Fort Pierce, Florida. And then what happened, he's going back and forth, and I told him I contract don't, that highway robbery, and I told him about your program, things like that. And then he called me Friday. He said, another sales manager called me back and said, I need to move forward with this quickly because it's another person looking to buy the vehicle. So they put a lot of pressure.
Right, a little pressure on top of all the insults.
Yeah, I told him, I said, don't do that. I said, you need to plug into the show on Saturday mornings. And so, again, the dealership was very responsive. Doug's working with him to find a vehicle.
Okay.
Bobby, it's great that he had you, more or less in his, back pocket, so to speak. It's unfortunate. There's so many ways that the dealers, take advantage with, market adjustments, with every fee you can imagine. But when you're at a disadvantage, as your business associate was, as far as a language, it's just great that somebody like you comes along and helps out. And I'm glad he got a better deal.
Yeah, well, he's really working with Todd Todd at your dealership. He's very, very professional.
Yes, he's been with us
good to
for
hear.
a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, Bobby, we have to get to the mystery shopping report. I thank you for following up. It was great talking to you this week, and we hope to hear from you again. Bobby,
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
you
Thank
want
you
to
so much.
you might want to join Earl's Vigilantes. If you go to Earl on Cars, you'll see where you can sign up, and you can help
Okay.
others that are purchasing a vehicle, just like your business associate. Thank
Would
you.
love to do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to some texts with Stu, and we're going to go to Rick if he has anything over there.
Yeah, I got a few.
You too.
Yeah, I'm sure Rick does too. I always want to get Emery's done first because it's tradition. Good morning. Jalopnik.com and other news sources are reporting that the tires on EVs in Florida are wearing out much faster than tires on conventional internal combustion vehicles. The lead technician at a garage outside of Miami that specializes in EVs reports that tires are the most frequent thing customers come in about no matter what make or model they're driving. He frequently changes tires at 8 to 10,000 miles, just a quarter or a fifth the typical tire wear of a internal combustion vehicle. The story attributes the fast wear to lots of power that can be put down instantly and to wild curb weights. She wrote rates, curb weights. It also depends on your driving style. If you drive like grandma, this is what this guy said. If you drive like grandma, the type of car should make a difference. One, Earl, you've had your Tesla for a couple of years now. Have you noticed any excessive tire wear on your car? And two, would hybrids be susceptible to excessive tire wear? Thanks.
I get a lot of tire wear because I run over curbs a lot. So if I take a...
and you're flooring it all the time.
Yeah, and I also don't drive like a little old lady.
No, definitely not. And Anne Marie, neither one of us drive like a little old lady.
No, it's a good question.
Our tires are in pretty good shape.
I think I've replaced 3 tires, maybe 4.
In 2 years?
Well, that's because...
In 2 years, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
No, I bang curbs.
Okay, but that's not for wearing.
No,
that's
it's not
from wear.
That's
wear
for
and tear.
damage.
No, but what happens also when you drive like that? I'm just being honest. You knock your wheels out of alignment,
Yeah.
and if the wear is on the inside, you don't see it, and all of a sudden one day you get your tires checked, which is why you should get them checked twice a year. And when you check them, Rick has seen my tires. And you look up on all of a sudden, you're looking at the cord on the inside of the tire.
Yeah.
So I got to replace the
like
tire.
on the inside.
And
the wear.
Anne Marie, to you pointing out as far as how you drive, wow, that is a mouthful. It makes a huge difference.
It's true, but I think if you drive an EV just normally, not aggressively, it's the weight. They
And
wear.
also,
it does weigh.
also on my
for
Tesla,
sure.
on my Tesla Plaid, they have the special tires, right? The what do you call them, Rick? They're like a racing tire.
They're an extra load tire to handle the weight.
Yeah.
But they're also the tires themselves they're going to wear a little faster because they're a softer compound to give you that nice smooth ride.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but hybrids, we don't have any. There's no major difference in tire wear for hybrid vehicles. They seem to last as long as the ICE vehicles, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they go just fine.
And
Yeah,
I don't think you're hitting as many curbs, recently.
Not in 2 or 3 days.
You've taken them all out. They're all gone. And okay, with hybrids, we answered the question. So no on hybrids, yes on EVs, and you also spend less money on brakes on hybrids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the factor,
EVs.
another factor I'm surprised it wasn't mentioned is the weight of the battery. And nationally, they've done statistics on tire wear, and the extra weight of the battery cuts the tire wear by I'm pulling this out of the air, 25 or 30% greater tire wear on all EVs.
Oh, yeah?
Donovan, as a matter of fact, just has come in. He says, I got about 15,000 miles out of the first set of tires when I got my first Tesla because I was stomping on the pedal a lot, same as my Boxster Porsche. He says, I stopped doing that so much, and I'm at almost 50,000 miles on the next set.
Wow.
So Good on you, Donovan,
It's
man.
hard to restrain yourself, Donovan. You got all that power there, and this Maserati or a Ferrari pulls up alongside of you at the red light, and you just
Growls at you.
pretend like he's not there. You got a lot of willpower.
Yeah, so that's where we are. Excuse me, that's where Earl is.
He's still, at heart, an 18-year-old guy with his GTO.
Competition plays a big role.
We have a preliminary grade from Jonathan in Palm Coast. He says Nancy stated the mystery shopping report will be an Napleton dealership, so he's sending in his F already.
Wow.
He didn't say that. He says I have a sneaking suspicion that I already know what the overall grade would be, but you go ahead and send your grades in now if you want.
Absolutely.
I'm serious.
It's a doozy.
Go ahead, send them in. You're going to guess right. But listen to the report.
And Asian Lightning was wearing her bulletproof vest.
Yeah. I got a question for Rick, I think. It's from Bob, and he says, my question is, I'm considering buying new wheels and tires with new tire pressure sensors. After they're shipped to me, he's going to buy them online. After shipped to me, I install them on my vehicle. Will the vehicle recognize the new sensors? If not, what is needed to be to prepare the vehicle system, to pair it to the system?
That actually depends on the brand of vehicle. Some of them, some manufacturers did it right. They actually designed it where as you're driving the car and it is seeing those same 4 radio signals traveling with it and knowing that, okay, those sensors have been with me for the past 30 miles, it will realize, okay, those are the 4 sensors for this car, and it will calculate it and program them in and begin recording their information. Others, like Toyota, again, they dropped the ball here. They said, to heck with the consumer. When you have a sensor replaced, you have to program it to the car, and there's a number on the sensor that you actually the mechanic has to write it down and then hook up a scan tool computer, go in and tell it, these are the 4 numbers that you will now watch for, these codes that are individual for each sensor. And if the mechanic goofs up and they go ahead and mount and balance the tire and put the new sensor in and they forgot to write that code down,
they got to do it.
We actually do have a special machine, a special scanner that you go up to the wheel, you dump a bunch of air out of the tire sometimes, or others you simply hit the button on the machine and it will activate that sensor.
Would
wake it
independent
up from a
mechanics
sleep
have
effect.
the same equipment that Toyota dealers have?
Some do, but a lot don't because they're expensive.
Boy, that's really a screw up by Toyota because we like to think you can get your maintenance done other than, and I keep saying all the time, you can have your maintenance done outside of a dealership. Only your warranty work has to be done. But here's an example of why you might not be able to get your tires rotated and balanced because the independents don't have the equipment.
Same thing with programming new keys.
Yeah,
it's gotten so much more difficult now. They've tightened the security so bad. Yeah. We used to be able to program Lexus keys. Now we can't even program Lexus keys. And we can't program Lexus tire sensors anymore either.
There's a bunch of stuff coming down the road, like a lot of with the sensors and the cameras that are getting. It probably will price out a lot of independents because the equipment that we're getting now just for our body shop and service to repair some of these busted sensors.
Well, there's legislation out there, and in fact, there's even national legislation pending.
Fix it anyway.
Right to repair, which means that everybody can buy the equipment. Right now, an independent can't buy it from a manufacturer if they won't sell it to them.
Right. And then they'll just make it prohibitive to buy because it would be $18 million for a sensor replacement unit.
I mean, they'll have to pay the same price that the dealer has to pay. So if you got a serious independent that really wants to service a lot of cars, then they'll invest in that. If not, then yeah.
Okay, you got any over there? I'm all caught up.
We've actually got a couple. First one, another mention from Donovan. He says a new tire specifically for EVs from a company called Sailun, Sailun. The tire is called the E-Range EV and is warranted for 45,000 miles. So they're apparently picking the ball up there and going to run with this company, Ceylon.
SAILUND?
Yep. No D. Just LUN.
Oh, LUN.
Yep. And it's they're making this E-Range EV tire with a 45,000 mile tread warranty.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Michelin is one of the last tire companies I know of that actually has a tread warranty. Very few seem to have gone away with that.
Do you know what I'm paying for my tires?
I don't.
It's a huge amount of money. I forgot.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was $300 each.
At least.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Yeah.
That ain't cheap.
And one other here we have is Mary Tyner says, Rick, I have a 2011 Honda CRV with an air conditioning that will only cool on low, max cold, low fan speed, and turns off in a few minutes when I set to anything else, any other fan speeds. What should I do? Most likely it's something in the AC controller if it's turning off when you set to other fan speeds. It could be that the system is low on Freon charge. You may need to get in and have that part checked. But it sounds to me like what's known as the AC amplifier or the AC controller computer is starting to get issues if it's turning the system off like that. I would definitely get that checked by a couple of different Honda techs. That way you can compare prices on it. They should be able to do that for you for like a diagnostic fee of like $100 to $150 to get it looked at. Okay, and here we have Donovan in again. I think this key thing is the most insane thing. It should not be so costly and complex to program a key. Tesla lets anyone add new keys to the car within the car while you're in the car for $35 for 2. And he says, Earl, I paid a ton also for the Michelins, over $300 a piece.
Yikes.
And he says the Ceylons are about half the price.
Wow.
Yeah.
Earl's got the,
wow.
Thank you. You're going to save me a fortune.
Yeah.
Donovan to the
Now
rescue.
Now I can start driving more aggressively again.
Donovan's amazing.
And I agree that
you made life fun again.
And he's a safe driver.
The security systems that they're putting on keys nowadays is for technicians. If I wanted to program a smart key to a car or the immobilizer, I'd simply plug in the scan tool, tell it I'm going to program you a new key. It used my sign-in information to say, okay, you're an authorized technician.
Yes. Single sign-on,
so you can do this.
Yeah.
And by simply swapping, put the key in ignition, turn it on, put the new one in, or hold the smart key up to the button, and it would tell it, okay, that's a programmed new key. Apparently, however, though, car thieves were very quick to catch on. They figured ways to spoof the system, and they would pose like as a parking lot attendant or a valet. They would get your key, program a new key to your car while you're having dinner.
Uh-huh.
You get in your car and drive home. Meanwhile, they simply follow your car, and when when you get home and you park your car, they walk up, use their key to open it, hop in and drive your car away.
What if you live in Anchorage?
They got stuff
Kind
for
of a
gas
long
with you a few
drive.
times.
And they'll want the heater going. But I mean, this was a very valid thing that someone could steal your car very easily simply by making their own key for it.
And they can't do that anymore.
Great information.
Now they've made it so much more difficult, but I'm pretty sure the criminals are going to find a way around
one step
it.
ahead all the time.
They're always going to beat it.
Just like the hackers.
Yeah, exactly.
Hackers.
It's an arms
Okay,
race.
guys, it is time for the mystery shopping report. And the ladies and gentlemen, you can join us in grading this mystery shopping report as you do every week. And you can do so by going to our text telephone number. That's 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. Our mystery shop this week takes us dangerously to Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. So
Is that in North Palm Beach?
that is
Nope,
in
nobody knows. It's right in the middle of everything.
Where?
It's
Okay,
North Lake
so
Boulevard.
It'd be north,
Yeah,
it could be Riviera
It could be Gardens, it could be Lake Park, it could be North Palm. It's in the greater West Palm area.
Yeah.
But it seems that everyone is definitely finding that dealership.
Do I really have to read this, or can we just vote?
Unfortunately.
This is a Napleton dealership.
All right. My
Well,
vote is
it's
worse than what we usually see,
I
even on the
better-
curve. I'm giving them an F.
I better read it. Legally, I probably
Well,
should.
I think that this brings the attention to hopefully our listeners, the ones that have called, the ones that haven't called, and it just brings the attention to what we have to do here. There's a lot of work to be done, and the FTC, they are doing a great job, but we need to do a better job, and that's the reason for the reading of Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Okay, reading in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived early in the morning, was met by a customer greeter, a guy, which was a first for me. Usually they're ladies. He smiled and asked, "Do you have an appointment, or are you just a walk-in?" "Just walking in," I replied. "No problem. I'll be happy to get someone to help you." He picked up the phone page from an available salesman to come to the front. A few minutes later, a confident salesman came around the corner, introduced himself as Dylan, and extended his hand for a handshake. Is that Dylan or Dylan?
Dylan.
Yeah. I explained that I saw a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4XE online that I was very interested in. It was listed on Napleton's website for $69,010. I showed it to him, and he said, "Let's go get the keys and take a look." We walked outside, found the vehicle, and the MSRP was $71,510. Not an addendum was in sight. Now, the advertised price was $69,010, and the MSRP was $71,510. So that really sounds like a discount from MSRP, which is something we look for these days. They're just starting to appear, by the way. A few dealers are lowering their prices in view of the catch-up with the supply chain problem. He opened the doors and back hatch. He then explained how awesome these Jeeps are now. As long as you don't read Consumer Reports, they're awesome, but they sure look cool. With a one-touch button. He had the keys in his pocket, so I climbed into the driver's side and asked, "Can I start it up and see how it works?" "Sure," he replied, placing the keys on the dash. He then showed me all the features, including the camera, and pointed out that it was a top-of-the-line, fully loaded vehicle. He didn't offer for me to take it for a ride. However, he mentioned how smoothly it runs. I then noticed a sticker on the front windshield that said, "Not for sale." Ooh, that's kind of crazy. And asked him about it. Dylan replied, "It just needs an inspection because it just came in, but it's absolutely for sale." "Would you like to see some numbers on it?" he asked. "Sure," I said, "but the numbers need to be good. My husband doesn't even know I'm out looking for a car today." Dylan smiled and reassured, "I'm here for you, and we will do whatever it takes to make the sale today. I've been doing this for 10 years, and my customers really trust me." That's something you really, when they say really trust me, get ready. You see how hard I work for my customers. Back inside at his desk, he asked for my driver's license and phone number. "Will you be financing or leasing today?" he inquired. "Financing probably, but I also need to see a cash sale breakdown," I answered. He asked, "Are there any specials?" "I don't think so, but I'll check." He then asked about a down payment, to which I said I'd probably put down about 10%. He excused himself to speak with the sales manager, returned a few minutes later with a worksheet. The top line selling price was MSRP, suggested retail, of $71,510. Okay, buckle up. That's what Agent Lightning said when she sent the report to Stu. Buckle up. Then he added a $9,995 market adjustment. You heard it right, folks. Let's call it 10 grand, right?
I think I'm going back in time.
Before adding an $899 dealer services fee, a $199 documentation fee, a $129 e-tag filing fee, a $149 private tag agency fee. I have to take a breath before I continue the paragraph. $998 for LoJack, $1,230 for Xylon, $199 for Napleton Gear,
Keeps going.
$299 for nitrogen tire inflation, $799 for Winston, and finally, LuxCare for $799. I can't believe it. I think this could be a new record.
I mean, if it is, it's beating themselves for the old record.
Yeah. And this is the same dealership, Napleton owned, that the Federal Trade Commission went after big time. I think when they fined him $8 or $10 million.
That was $20 million.
$20 million pocket change, chump change to Napleton, because he's screwing customers so badly that $20 million fine.
It's just another bill.
And then he doesn't even change his operation at all of his dealerships.
He's got to get it while the getting's good, because on July 30th, it's ending.
Well, they postponed that, That's.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
What's it postponed to?
They don't know. It's they're waiting for the Texas opinion. NADA in Texas and the Texas Auto Association filed a complaint with the court, and the court actually is probably in session now. And the Federal Trade Commission called me for my opinion. You saw my opinion, so they quoted my opinion to the Texas court, and the Federal Trade Commission, to my disappointment, postponed the July 30th initiation.
Just
but we don't know when.
Because of the hearings and everything.
And here we got. Here's they ought to send this to the court. This shopping report to the court in Texas or Washington or wherever the federal court is. Added together, I'm back as Agent Lightning, by the way, in doing this Mr. Shopping report. Added together, my real price was $87,205, $15,695 over MSRP, and the advertised price was under MSRP.
Yes.
I gasped in shock. I said, I thought the days of market adjustments were over. No, ma'am. This is the only vehicle we have like this, and we have to make money on it, he explained. Wait just a minute, though. I don't think you'll want many of the items on this sheet. He began crossing them out. This $9,000 market adjustment, no, I don't think I have much room to work with. You mean $10,000? No, it's not going to work. There's no way we're going to pay $10,000 more for a vehicle than we need to, I said firmly. He crossed out the $9,995 and wrote $9,000. Here, look, I could do this and get you out the door between $82,000 and $83,000, but that's as likely as low as I could go. Well, if I had known this up front, I wouldn't have wasted your time. There's no way I'm going to be paying that much more for a vehicle when no other places around are charging extras anymore. I said, standing up to leave. He urged, please wait a minute for my sales manager to come over and thank you for coming in. But I acted as if I had a phone call. I walked out. As I backed out of the parking spot, Dylan walked outside to try to stop me. I wonder, did he lay down in front of the car?
Maybe he stood behind it, put his hands up.
Well, I just kept on going. By the way, he said, and there were no others around like it, but I had checked online, and Enrico has his vehicle for sale.
It's not the only one.
Not the only one. So he's a liar there. He's a liar everywhere.
This is terrible.
And the pants on fire, right?
This is terrible from the top to the bottom.
It is. I mean, we laugh at it, and it's so bad it's funny, but it's really sick that a car dealer is so arrogant to be fined. We don't know whether it was $10 or $20 million by the Federal Trade Commission. We talk about him on the show every week, and we say what a crook he is, and all the dealerships. And he just keeps on doing it. And that means there's just a whole lot of people out there that are not listening to the show or don't have people that can, like our vigilantes, that can consult with and help them. And they're the victims of society. They're the people that are not conversant in English. They're people that are not educated. They're people that are elderly. They're young people that have never bought a car before. And there's enough people out there to support the Napletons of the world. And can you imagine, people do pay $20,000 over a sticker to Napleton. I mean, not every day maybe, but they wouldn't be asking for it if they didn't some of it, at least some other time, and maybe all of it once in a while. So we vote, and we know what the votes are going to be, and we know that if we visited Napleton next week, the same thing would happen. So FTC, you lawyers out there, why you let this go on? I don't know.
They should do mystery shops. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They do.
All right. Well, Jonathan Palm Coast, who guessed on the grid early, said, "Boy, was I right! Nailed it." This mystery shopping report has no surprises. Same tricks, same games, same exorbitant junk fees, same Napleton. This car dealership gets its standard grade of F from me. No grading on the curve can save them. That's true. Okay, I have another F minus minus minus. Just say no to Napleton. I cannot believe they're still in business. And then we have an emoji with a mad cursing face. And then from Steve, AZ minus R. Oh, it's Roadrunner Steve. It's Z. Okay. Roadrunner Steve, you're unique. He gives him a Z. That's all the way at the end of the alphabet. That's as bad as you can get. And yeah, I'm giving him an F too. This is the he said they're the archetype of the bad car dealer.
Well, I've got Negan 1, big fat F, 2 minutes into the report. Over here, I've got, oh boy, these are coming in fast here. Let's see. Right off the bat, we've got, come on here. This is a stack.
Rick can't keep up with the feed.
It literally is going that.
Why don't you just say this?
Here.
F, 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 F.
Now, these first two came in almost before Earl started reading. Donovan says, I'll pre-start the grading. It's Napleton, so F. Tom Steckel said, forecast 100% chance of nitrogen followed by multiple fees. Mark Anderson, F for Napleton. No more is needed. Let's see. Cliff Picks is asking, how many days was this Jeep sitting on the lot?
That's a good question.
Mark Smith, Napleton gets a big fat F from me. And Donovan comes back to say, Cliff, that one's been on the lot for 40 days, but they have two others that have been there for 60 and 77 days.
Probably true.
Mark Anderson, I apologize to all the other Fs I've given. Napleton needs a federal investigation.
Oh my God, the guilt. Yeah, I feel guilty too.
We could have a special letter just for Napleton. How about an N?
An N? Well,
the worst you can below an F. There's only one thing below an F, and that's an N for Napleton.
Well, Roadrunner Steve suggested Z, but
yeah.
The zombies.
Scott H. Sr. F. At least leave the addendum in the window.
Yeah,
Brian Sedlatko, you can trust me. Napleton deserves an F. T-Cash, I would vote D for disgusting, but that's too good for them, so I'll vote F for fishy. Johnny Z. Fradley, I have a heart, so I will grade Napleton on a curve. F. Next thing you know, Napleton will be a feed to enter the showroom.
I'd like to buy a car. I'm sorry, there's an entry fee.
That's possible, I suppose.
That's a cover.
Here, okay. Tom Steckel, the quintessential F. Not only the bottom of the barrel is rotten as well. Sad that people actually buy from Napleton. Cliff says, must be the higher education. And Donovan says, is anyone really surprised from Napleton? This is a perfect example of why we need the new rules. F all the way. I don't know how they still get people to fall for this, but they do. Tim Gilliland, F, F, F. No surprise here. Mark Ryan, F. Kyle in Pennsylvania, yikes, F. And T-Cash says, and worst of all, it's a Jeep. For me, my vote is F for Napleton. I mean, it just, or maybe it should be W for wow.
I don't need to ask Nancy, but I will.
I'm going to behave myself.
Yeah. And, of course, an F. And I don't give Fs out very often, but this one, this is terrible. It's not, it's F, as I say, I apologize to the other ones.
It's like they've just given up. They said to hell with it.
Yeah. My grade is an F. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason that Earl is leading all of us to recognize the fact that the FTC is doing a great job, and they're looking to eliminate all of these market adjustments, the fees, everything in between. But I want to take a minute and thank Bob for helping. Earl talked about a language problem, barrier, older people, but Bob was right there to help his friend because he did have a problem with English. And this is where consumers get taken advantage of. And there's way too many people going over to Napleton, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and purchasing a vehicle. They continue to stay in business. Earl?
Yeah, I just want to get this. This is a text that I sent to the attorney at the Federal Trade Commission, Jamie Brooks. Jamie Brooks is the attorney that I've dealt with and took my statement to take to the court. And as you might have heard earlier, the FTC CARS Act, the Combat Auto Retail Scams that we were so excited about that was supposed to take place July 30th, has been put on hold. I'm just going to read you the text I sent to Jamie Brooks, attorney for the FTC, yesterday. Good morning, Jamie. Can you please fill me in on the status of the Federal Trade Commission's answer to the appeal to the court by the NADA and Texas Dealers Association? Did the fact that the Federal Trade Commission postponed CARS, Combat Auto Retail Scams, from July 30th indicate that they felt the appeal may prevail? I do my live radio show tomorrow morning, and my callers will be asking me these questions. Thanks very much, Earl. I did not get a reply from Jamie, but I will pursue her. And I'm very disappointed that the Federal Trade Commission postponed it. I don't know why they would do it. Why wouldn't they wait for the outcome of the appeal by the Texas Dealers Association?
Yeah.
So, at any rate, keep tuned. And next week we will cover it, and they'll find more about this. But I would hate to think that somehow Big Auto got through to the Federal Trade Commission. I know they're getting through to the politicians, but how do you get through to the Federal Trade Commission? I don't think that's happening, but we'll find out, and we'll let you know next week.
Yeah, and everyone that knows Earl will, agree that he is going to stay on this, and he will get back in touch with Jamie Brooks if she doesn't respond. And my, oh my, what a shocker. Anyway, rather than go on and on, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at Earl on Cars. We appreciate your company. You make the show. Tune in next week at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here